What's up? So relative tuning. This is a super great skill to have as a guitarist. It comes in handy all the time. To do it though, you are going to need to know what our open strings are, what the letters are. So with a lot of my students, generally my younger ones, I use the term Elves and Dragons grow big ears. You take the first letter of all of those words and presto, you got your open strings. Anyway, so relative tuning. What is it? Relative tuning is tuning your guitar to be in tune with itself. We'll go through it and do it on my guitar, but the general concept is that if you have one string in tune, or roughly in tune, ideally your low E string, you can use that string to tune all the other strings and get your whole guitar in tune from just one string. So the general idea is that we use this string, our low E, to get our A string in tune. Then when our A string is in tune, we use that to get our D string in tune. And then when our D string is in tune, we then tune our G string from our D string. So forth and so on until we've done our whole guitar. So let's go through it. I'll chuck up some pictures and stuff, and I reckon you'll figure out how this kind of works. And then you'll be able to go through your own guitar and tune it yourself. Huh? Sound good? So here's our E string. Now this is in tune. But just to prove the point, let's make it a little off a true E. So it's no longer an E, it's close. And I'm doing that just to show you that this tuning will still work even if our guitar is not exactly in tune or the E string isn't exactly in tune when we start tuning. It's still going to be fine. So this is basically an E, and that means we can assume that all the other notes up the neck are going to basically be the notes that they're supposed to be. So our open A note, the one we want it to be, we can find that note on our E string. It's here. It's the 5th fret of the E string. That note there is supposed to be an A. And this open string note and the 5th fret on our E string are supposed to be the same note. And they're not. So what we do is we play them against each other and we change our open string to match our fretted note. So let's do that. Our fretted note, open string. That open string is too low. Let's listen again. So we've got to bring it up to our tuning head. Have a listen. Yeah. Now they're basically in tune. They're the same. They sound like the same note. They're supposed to be the same note. We've tuned our A string. Okay, so now our A string is in tune because we found that same note on our E string. And we're going to do exactly the same thing for our D string, our 3rd string from the roof. So we're going to find that same note, or the note it's supposed to be, on our now tuned A string. And that's again on the 5th fret. These two notes are supposed to be the same. So what we're going to do is exactly the same thing. We'll play them against each other and then change the open string to match the fretted one. Let's do it. Fretted, open. It's too high, we've got to back it off. Sounds about right. Close enough. So our D string is now in tune. We've tuned up our A string and our D string. And now we're going to use our D string to tune our G string, the 4th string from the roof. Just going through one by one. Hope you're seeing what's going on here. So it's exactly the same thing again. We find our open G string note, or what it's supposed to be, on our freshly tuned D string. So our 5th fret of our D string is supposed to be the same note as our open G string. Let's listen to them. Fretted note, open string. The open string is too low, we need to bring it up. So let's do that. Yeah, it's basically in tune. So our G string is now in tune. Our 4 top strings are all in tune. 2 more to go. Now this is the only one that's a little different. Our B string, when we're trying to tune that one up, our 5th string from the roof, we find that open note again on our G string, but we find it on the 4th fret. So let's just do it again. We play them against each other, then we change the tuning of the open string. Our B is too high, we need to bring it down. Yeah, that's about right. So 4th string, 4th fret. Now we're down to our last string, our E string. And this is exactly the same as all the other ones except the one we just did. So again, we tune our E string using our freshly tuned B string. So the open E string note is supposed to be the same as the 5th fret of our B string. And let's have a listen. They're pretty close actually, but I think it's a little sharp. It's a little too high. Yeah, that's about in tune. And that's it. Your guitar should basically be in tune. It sounds fine. Even though we started with our E string a little off, it still sounds fine and plays fine. There's no problem with it. You don't have the exact true notes, but the guitar is in tune with itself. So when you're playing by yourself, relative tuning is a really good skill to have. To be honest though, you do kind of want to be in tune as often as you possibly can. It's a good idea. It's better for your ears. It helps you develop your oral skills. You want to be used to hearing those sounds, not something a little off, halfway between. Any questions? Chuck them in the comments. Otherwise, take it easy.